Hello, Raju. Hello, Abhinav. Kamal. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Happy to see you here. Happy to see you. Excited to talk to you about certain important things. Sucharita, Durga, Veena, Vaishnavi. Yes. Swaraj, Shivani. Almost all old students. All the old students are always on time somehow. It's almost like they understand the value of the session and they are always on time, which is always very nice. Good evening. Interesting name you have said, Devil Devil. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening, Dana. Hello, Vaibhav. Hello, Dominic. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, Sanjuli. Welcome, Samriddhi. Welcome, everyone, to this very unique session where I have invited a few very special people to talk to you about some important things. These very special people are special for a number of reasons. Before I introduce you to them, I want to tell you how it all started, where the genesis of it is. It's an interesting story. You see, when I started a couple of years ago, I was in the process of understanding and growing about how exactly to proceed with UPSC, and I was trying to figure out what people require. I figured out after some time that it is not content that they require because content is in abundance. In fact, there is too much of it. If anything, I understood very quickly that they required some sort of filtering instead of just content. And so I started to focus on the psychological aspect and the mentoring part of it. And this turned out to be a very serendipitous move which I made. And so I created this group in a few months ago, this mains 22 group. This mains 22 group was about 100 students who are going to write mains. And we created this group. Now this group, it transformed into something else. As time went on, it became this very, very close community. The people in that group have become friends for life. The people that I'm going to introduce you today are all from that community. And it is because of the special nature of these people that we have created this. In fact, most of the inspiration that I have taken, that we have taken for this super batch, which I will also tell you about in case you don't know, is from that group. Because you see, it was really not just the content that they were getting help with, it was that whole support system. And that support system, I know it sounds cliched when I say it, but the impact of it was huge. And this you will hear from their own versions. And without further ado, I will share my screen and introduce you to everyone. Everyone, welcome to this panel discussion. You see on the screen all the faculty, these are my star athletes. This is my core group. These are the people I place my trust in, and I'd have no hesitation in saying if I was preparing prelims this year, it was these people that I would listen to. And if I go somewhere and ask me exactly kya karna hai exactly mujhe ab, what save me, rescue me, it would be these people that I would ask these questions from. But more importantly, the reason that they are here today is because they do something which others don't. They every year are able to clear prelims. Even this year they'll be able to clear prelims, and I want to understand having them together, having us all in the same place, and I want to demonstrate what exactly they do, what exactly goes on, what exactly is happening. I also want to talk about two more things. I want to talk about what is this super batch. I want to talk about why it is important, and I want to talk about regardless of the super batch, I want you to understand and know that you can clear prelims if you follow a certain strategy. There are a certain set of principles which I want you to hear from their own mouth, because you see, it's been a while since I attempted prelims naturally, but these individuals are highly updated. Highly updated. I mean, they're still in it. And so what they can tell and they can know is the culmination of all teachers. In fact, they have been to various coaching institutes, they have been to various test series, they have seen the star teachers, they have seen an academy, Byju's, whatever there is, and they know exactly who to listen to. And this basically, they have not, as far as I can tell, and you can ask them these questions also, they have been able to accumulate the best from all of these sources, not just one. So without further ado, let me introduce you to Krishna, Aditi, Yogi, Vipul, and Shali. You already know them from the sessions that they have taken in the past. And I want to now start asking them questions. And what I'm going to do in this session, I'm going to ask them questions. We'll have a conversation. This conversation is not going to be about between us. It's going to be about you, in fact. So I want you to listen into this conversation. In the end, when there are questions, tell me those questions. I will filter those questions and I will ask it to them, and we'll have what exactly we require from this session, right? So my first question, let's start from Aditi, in fact. Let's start from Aditi. In fact, let's start from polity, because you know that's the base. Polity is the fundamental base. It is where everything begins, everything ends. 20-25 questions will come from it. We all know that. Aditi, would you please care to tell us how exactly it is that you are able to do well in polity every time, and how exactly should a person approach this? What exactly is the problem with polity? Today, I had a question from a student who mentioned that they were having problem with polity because they get the questions wrong. And also an interesting fact, when we took the survey, Aditi, most people said that polity is their strongest subject. Most people, 65% people said it is the strongest subject, but 65% of the people did not get high marks in polity. What is going on with it? What can I do now? If I am an aspirant, I have to go into prelims. I have not read polity. I have maybe read polity once. I have read Lakshmikant. I am not confident with it. Tell me what I should do to rescue myself.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes.
Okay. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to SUPERBATCH 2023. Now, getting back to the question that Sir asked. In fact, Sir, yes, I mean, when I started my preparation, even I was confident that polity is going to be my strong subject because of my background. I am a lawyer and I've completed law. So, and in fact, during my college years, Constitution was my favorite subject. I did a lot of, I have a lot of experience with Constitution. So, with this in mind, I thought that polity is going to be my strongest foothold. But when I actually went for the exam, when I went for the test series, I realized that just thinking that it is the strongest subject is not enough. Because when the questions are asked, the options are so similar that we often face difficulty in coming to the right answer. So just having a knack for the subject is not enough when it comes to UPSC as an exam. That is why, so over the years, I have developed an understanding that being a lawyer also, I cannot 100% say that all my answers are correct. But now I know the strategy to maximize my correctness. And that is what I want to tell the students, that don't be overconfident about the subject. We have to prepare a strategy. We have to be on the edge when it comes to this subject, because this has a lot of scope. I mean, a lot of questions are asked from polity. So firstly, definitely the base is created by Lakshmikant. Everybody knows, we all have read the book. But these days, a lot of questions are being asked from beyond Lakshmikant. So once your base is clear, I would suggest don't waste your time going back to the book again and again. Once your base is clear, you have to move away from the book. You have to start solving questions. What helped me the most was solving multiple questions. Once I finished the book, I would solve 50-50 questions every day. And you have to broaden your horizons, get more sources, but at the same time, don't go for multiple books. That is why, sir, I have created condensed notes specifically for this course, for prelims super batch. I have used multiple sources, State Bar Council books, Lakshmikant, my own notes during my preparation, the classes that I had taken during my preparation. Everything has been condensed, and I can vouch for it that if the hand holding that I will be providing, you need not go to Lakshmikant again. So this is one of the highlights of the course.
Aditi, let me interject and ask you a relevant question. With the time
Yes.
remaining, can I now start to prepare my notes and hope to cover Lakshmikant in as much as that is concerned? And if not, then how will I be rescued from this situation? What can I do? Supposing I don't join the super batch, then what can I do?
So are we assuming that you have not even read Lakshmikant once?
Suppose I have read Lakshmikant once, I have an idea of polity because I have some background as an aspirant, but I don't know enough to say that I will qualify the cutoff. That much I don't know.
Okay, sir. So then I would suggest that if you are not joining the super batch, then your focus at this point should be on solving questions. Because when you solve questions and the answer keys that you go through, a lot of knowledge is gained from there. And sir, you should not restrict yourself to just one test series that comes in the market. Suppose for example, we go in for we buy Vision IS test series, and then we constantly keep solving just Vision IS. This is a wrong strategy. You must go for multiple test series, and I'm not saying that you buy all the test series, because today the market is very commercial. Everything comes at a cost. But sir, there are alternatives available in the market. Bookstores are coming up with booklets. So for example, I can show you an example. Like this is one of the test series. So like this, a lot of booklets are coming in the market. So you can just buy multiple booklets of all the subjects, in fact, and keep solving the questions, because Lakshmikant base is done now. Don't go back to the book. Just 2 months are left for the exam.
Yes. And so another question related to that, which has been asked by Sneha, she says, what was your strategy specific to polity if the initial accuracy is 30%? How to reduce the number of negative attempts? What she's asking, I think what she's asking is she wants to know how do you eliminate MCQs in polity, because that is a question somebody else also asked today. Somebody from the super batch asked the same question, that their main issue is that they understand polity, accuracy is very low. What is the solution?
So for this, I would directly jump onto the answer specifically. Now, when we revise, we have to revise chronologically. So for example, this I have done because I am going to take classes, but otherwise also I would suggest that you open Lakshmikant, go to the index. Now check the chapters. Firstly, you eliminate the chapters that do not require revision or which are not important. For example, towards the end, that there are many chapters like foreign policy and all of those chapters that can be eliminated. They don't require revision anymore. So once you are done with that, you come at a consolidated index that these are the chapters that need revision. Now you start solving questions chapter wise. For example, today I am doing fundamental rights. So I have revised fundamental rights, and now I will solve 10 to 20 questions based on fundamental rights. Once you're done with chapter wise revision, then you hop on to full length questions, full length tests. And sir, trust me, initially you might get 50 questions wrong. But sir, if you continue solving questions, there will come a point where you will understand, you will get a knack of it. I would suggest that solve so many questions that by the time you go for the test, you will know what to mark. And I also have elimination technique, which probably I'll go for once.
And one interesting thing I would like to add, Aditi, if I may, that when you talk about polity, regardless of what you may think, sometimes they will ask dynamic questions, but polity, especially the contents of polity, including the questions and the options that they give, are repetitive. They are repetitive. If there is going to be a discussion or a question about the governor, either in some previous year question, option, or some question directly, that question would have appeared in some form or another. It is going to be either about his power, it is going to be about his appointment, it is going to be about his resignation or his special provisions or some sort of emergency provisions that he has, and that is a repetitive theme. So yes, by that logic, your suggestion does make sense. Another question from Harish for polity, particularly for Aditi. How do you link current affair with static portion? The emphasis on his question is on the how.
Yes, sir. And this is a very relevant question. And this is one of the highlights of our course. We are going to, this is going to be my strategy, that everything that is happening these days, because if you see, the polity current affairs are very repetitive. And whatever you read Hindu, you read the Indian Express, whatever you read, you will see that every day there is at least one article on polity. And most of the themes are repetitive. So sir, during our preparation, we are going to integrate all these themes in our preparation. And trust me, in this course, sir, it is not going to be like normal classes where we start with some background story, then we tell them everything about the subject, we tell them how and what and when. This is not going to be the strategy, because only 2 months are left. We are directly going to jump onto prelims. How it is to be studied, what is to be studied, nothing extra is going to be taught. because we don't have the time right now, and this is the speciality. Now we are in that state, we are reaching the peak of our preparation, so we don't need extra material. What we need is accuracy,
So
and that is what
let me ask
focus
you
on.
another important question here, Aditi, and then we will move on to Krishna and to history. Aditi, it sounds like you need some background, but what if somebody has not prepared enough polity, very honestly speaking, and they don't know enough? You know, there are all these, like Senatipati is asking, there are all these schemes and committees and reports. क्या ये हो जाएगा in the given period? क्या हम ये कर सकते हैं?
Sir, I don't want to make random guesses and random claims over here, but अगर आप मुझ पे कुछ ट्रस्ट डाल रहे हो, then obviously it is going to be my responsibility to handhold and make sure कि you will at least get 60% of the questions right, जिन्होंने अगर कुछ पढ़ा भी नहीं होगा. तो सर मैं अपने नोट्स उसी तरीके से बना रही हूँ, चाहे मतलब towards the end also, जब तक कि ये कोर्स चलेगा, कुछ ना कुछ मेरे साइड से आपको रोज मिलेगा, because a sub group has also been created. तो मेरी, क्योंकि मैं भी प्रिपेयर कर रही हूँ, so I will make sure कि जो भी relevant चीजें हैं, जितना भी हम कर सकते हैं हम करेंगे. आई विल डू माई बेस्ट, एंड मैंने नोट्स भी उसी तरीके से बनाए कि बेसिक से बेसिक लोग भी इसको समझ पाएंगे.
Right, right. And so much of the difficulty of polity being its factual nature and the content इतना ज़्यादा data इतना ज़्यादा है उसमें कि उसको you can't digest it normally. So if you have
Sir,
simplified it, तो yes.
I can sum up the entire conversation that we are having in just one example. जो लक्ष्मीकांत का साइज है ना, that is the scariest part ever. I remember during my preparation end में मुझे ये एंजाइटी होने लगती थी कि मैं रिविजन कैसे करूं अब लक्ष्मीकांत की, क्योंकि कुछ लोग, काफी लोग इनफैक्ट नोट्स नहीं बनाते. So now when I am talking about my own notes, जितना मैंने इतने टाइम से जो मैं मेहनत कर रही हूँ, फॉर एग्जाम्पल सर पार्लियामेंट का जो चैप्टर है लक्ष्मीकांत में, इट इज मोर देन 60 पेजेस, कुछ 60-80 इससे भी ज्यादा पेजेस का है. यू विल सी आई हैव मेड हैंड रिटन नोट्स, एंड वो पूरे चैप्टर को मैंने 18 पेजेस में कंडेंस कर दिया है. जितना भी रेलेवेंट मटेरियल है, यू नीड नॉट गो थ्रू द पार्लियामेंट चैप्टर अगेन. ये सब कुछ इसमें इंक्लूडेड है. 18 पेजेस में योर पार्लियामेंट चैप्टर विल बी डन.
और is it correct to assume कि सिर्फ यही बार बार रिवाइज करना है हमको जाने से पहले?
डेफिनेटली इसके साथ मैं आपको ऑब्वियसली आई एम गोइंग टू गिव यू लाइक मल्टीपल क्वेश्चंस टू सॉल्व, तो आप उसकी एक्यूरेसी उससे देख लेंगे. तो यही रिवाइज करना है बस, अब लक्ष्मीकांत पे नहीं जाना है वापस.
Good. So we'll come back to Aditi and to polity as we proceed. My next question is about history. Now, interestingly, in the roadmap for polity, we had, clubbed history. And Krishna, we were actually worried about history because there is again the vast problem of vastness is there in history. Okay, how do you expect us to tackle all that vastness of history in that short period of time? What is your rescue plan? How much time should I give? Suppose I am an aspirant and I am anxious about history. History is my nightmare. I have not read it. I don't know much of art and culture. I know a few landmarks. I've read something here or there. I've read Bipin Chandra once. I don't feel prepared for UPSC. How will I be helped?
Sir, actually, history. Good evening, everyone. This is Krishna. Actually, sir, history is similar to UPSC, sir. Actually, history is like we are studying of the past or learning the past to apply in the present for a better future. Like in the UPSC also, we learn from the past attempt. In the first attempt, if we lost anything, if we have to learn from the past attempt and we have to implement in the attempt for a qualifying exam. So history is similar to UPSC. That's the main thing actually. I think we have to understand the history. I feel that's important. I feel 3 C's are important. First, we have to understand what is the concept behind this. Concept, consolidation. I mean, first we have to understand the concept, then we have to consolidate it, and we have to connect with that subject. If we have that connect, we can definitely answer the questions easily. And I has designed the course in such a way that I will show.
Would you like to share your screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, we can see it.
Yes, sir. Actually, I have divided the history into mainly. Actually, history was into 4 parts, like ancient, medieval, modern, and art and culture. And I have divided these into 15 topics. And from every one topic, there will be a question for sure. And and I have divided that ancient history into 4 parts, like before industrial civilization, and Vedic period, and then
So, Krishna, if I understand correctly, you are saying that these divisions, you will give individual notes for these or what?
yes, sir, definitely.
Hmm. Okay. And okay, so this is the division, Krishna. But even if I make an intelligent division, I am still worried about this problem of mine that how do I cover the volume, even if I have divisions? And so, do you have some visual representation or some mechanism which can help me cover it? I don't need to read all that text. I don't want to read all that text.
Yes, sir. Actually, I have my own notes, and I will give it to you so that you can prepare it well. And like this, I have made my notes like, I mean, visual representation actually. I mean,
Yes.
because many of the questions like the questions are will be on timeline and administration, these things. Like if we have Delhi Sultanates, during Delhi Sultanates, who was ruling Maharashtra, who was ruling Karnataka, who was ruling Tamil Nadu, who was ruling Andhra, who was ruling Odisha, who was ruling Bengal, and then what happened next?
So these
Only
visual representations you have for everything, whole of history.
yes, sir.
So
Yes,
when
sir.
you
Whole of
suppose I want to read something about Chola Empire, you can give it to me in some sort of a map so that I can just
yes,
digest
sir.
it.
Definitely.
Can you
And
increase the size of this so that we can see?
yes, sir.
Yeah, now we can
Like
see.
if you see that, I mean, Bhakti movement, how the Bhakti movement has propagated,
Hmm.
like Alvas, like Ramanuja has from Tamil Nadu, has the Bhakti movement spread to Ramanand. I mean,
Hmm.
like from Ramanand, it was led to Kabir, Raidas, Dana, Pipa, Sena. I mean, like from here, from Kabir, it was again to Dadu Dayal from Gujarat, and from Kabir here to uh, Chhattisgarh, like this from the Ramanand to Dhyaneshwar.
Hmm.
Like if we have the visual representation, it will be very easy to understand. I'm saying that.
And so I have heard a lot about your notes, Krishna. You have been
Yes,
compiling these notes for the past 4 or 5 years, right?
yes, sir.
And tell me what all sources you have used to compile these notes. Do they include Bipin Chandra? Do they include Spectrum? All those other things?
Yes, sir. Actually, I have made my notes from Bipin Chandra. I mean, NCRT. Actually, I relied mainly on NCRT, sir. I have read for the ancient, medieval, modern, and NCRTs, and the Art and Culture 2 volumes, and the Bipin Chandra, and the Spectrum, and various other, no, I mean, materials available. I mean, outside. I have made notes. Actually, I personally do one thing, sir. I think everyone do that because when we hear something, it will not stay here for many days. So what I do, I used to write everything. I used to write everything which I learned, so that it has become a bulk. And after 1 month, I will refine it to very small, so that again there is a one revision and the refining was there. And up to exam, there it will be like 3-4 times revision will be there, and refining also will be there, so that it will be like a condensed notes will be formed.
So this is a question, which I am being asked by Harsh is asking, and others are also asking. So this visual representation, how do you remember facts? So Chirag is asking, Chirag, the answer he has been saying for the past 5 minutes is he's saying if you want to capture history and that too for prelims, capture it visually. And he has shown you how he uses maps and stuff for his purpose. So that is his yes. Yes, Senatipati, that the answer to your question is definitely yes. Okay, so tell me another thing, Krishna. What is the role of previous year questions in history? Do they get repeated? If yes, then what sources do you expect? Also tell me what portion of my time, how much time should I invest in history? Percentage.
Sir, actually, I think the percentage of time should be equivalent to the percent of questions. Actually, history when caters to 20% of the questions in UPSC prelims, so we have to cater 20% of the time. Like if we have 50 days, we have to provide at least 10 days.
Not 20, Krishna. 20 means five things. Now we have to also deal with CSAT. So that is more. So
Yeah, sir.
we have only 15% of the time actually.
Okay, 50. I mean, the questions will be like 20-25% sometimes. Actually, that's why I have said.
Hmm.
Uh, so, and if you have the history knowledge, you can solve geography questions, and you can solve science and tech questions sometimes.
So
the history.
another interesting thing is with this mapping approach that you have to history, it will have some overlap with geography also.
Yes, sir. Actually, this establishes a connection between different subjects. Actually, like if we understand like the Silk Trade, the fall of the Roman Empire led to the fall of the currency system in India. By linking these things, we can understand the subject very well, and we can link the economy of the Roman Empire with the economy of Gupta Empire. That's enriches our mind, our uh, I mean, question solving ability, because UPSC asks analytical questions, not concept. I mean, not factual questions actually.
Analytical and not factual. All
I have
right.
made.
All
You
right.
have asked
Continue.
the previous questions, right, sir?
Yes.
Actually, previous year questions will give a uh, direction in which we have to prepare. Like from the previous year questions, I've made a.
Yes. Oh yes, you are. You want to share your screen? All right.
So from the previous year questions, I have analyzed these things actually. These 11 things are mainly analyzed from the previous year questions actually. From every year, the questions are like timeline of different dynasties will be asked. I will, if I mean, I will share this PDF afterwards. In this, it also contains the questions also about the timeline. Different anniversaries. If there is Subhash Chandra Bose birth anniversary, there is a question of Subhash Chandra Bose. Like every year, there is a question of Gandhi. Every year, and we should have a knowledge about region so that we can solve the questions also. Like if we go to temple, if we understand see something there, and if the question comes there, we can solve that. And every year there is a question on charter act. Every year the question on any addition of sites of new heritage sites, and the factories and the settlements of the colonial powers, the people in news, limited resources. I mean, these are the cheat codes I feel, which I have made from the previous year questions actually.
Right. Good. So these 10 points. Can you show Krishna once again these 10 points?
Okay.
Everybody should please take notes of these 10 points. These 10 points he uses every time. These are good, useful. Those 10 points are important. Krishna, can you share your screen and show us those 10
Okay, sir.
points? Please take a note of these points he is showing. This is useful. This is because this is very important where history is too vast. This helps you maybe capture something very pertinently. Who knows, 4 or 5 questions you can get from this type of this thing. And
Actually, 10 questions directly come from this, sir. Actually,
10 question, huh?
Because every other question on timeline, every other question on Gandhi, every other question on different personalities, every other question on Charter Act, these are like for sure.
Right. Okay. All right. Let me move on to geography. And let me ask you, Vipul. Tell me, Vipul, with geography, first of all, let me tell you my fear. As an aspirant, I have had that fear, and I was never too good at geography, to be very honest, because I didn't like to memorize all the facts, all the events, all the places. I did not want to understand where everything is. That was not my cup of tea. I always wanted to understand the big picture of it. But to me, geography was very factual, and the map was overwhelming. When I used to see the map of geography of a river or physiographical divisions, it was so much condensed information. I never wanted to read or memorize it, and I was never able to, honestly speaking, properly. How can I do that now, given my time frame and my constraint as an aspirant? How am I supposed to navigate through geography, whether or not I join the super batch? What should I do for geography?
Hello everyone, I'm Vipul and I will be your mentor for Geography Super Batch. As Sir has told that there's a general fear and it's quite common, like because geography is so vast and there are a number of things to learn and endless things to cover because geography penetrates everything. So what to do? According to me, like if we look at whole to everything, it always instills a fear at once. But if we classify the things and subdivide, plan it prudently, then the things become manageable. So I think if you join the super batch, you will be benefited in multiple ways, because as there is a traditional classification of geography into geomorphology, climatology, oceanography, mapping work, and other aspects. So given the timeline, you need to cover all of them, but our laser eye focus is clearing the prelims. And in order to clear the prelims with regard to the questions being asked from geography, there are recurring or hot topics. So we need to prioritize, so that prioritize and filter, so that we just don't miss the important things. And also we cover the geography comprehensively, so that we are confident in facing most of the questions. So I think that prudent planning and understanding do the needful. And
Vipul, let me ask you, how will exactly tell me what prudent planning will we be doing? Tell me what I should do.
Yes, sir. Like, sir, in geography, people used to, first of all, I will just tell you that what should not be done. Many students just go to certain heavy books like Gochin Liu. Yeah, many people follow it, but it is not made for UPSC. But there are certain topics which are very well explained in it. So, moreover, people also go for Khuller and several other books just for geographies, prelims and GS geography. But for prelims, clearing the prelims, we need not do all this bulky reading. What we need to do is analyze the demand of the paper. So analyzing the overlapping areas, like in climatology, a major chunk of questions which are asked in geography is from climatology. So we need to prioritize this. And similarly, many students also do this mistake that they focus too much on landforms. And from previous 2 to 3 years, not a single question is being asked on landforms. So we need to just strategize the things. And only you can strategize these things if you are having a proper guidance, because you have not gone through whole syllabus. Once we go through the whole syllabus, only then we decide that which is important thing to do first. So I think by becoming part of this batch, I will be better able to guide you towards the focus points, so that your score in prelims and also your larger understanding is maximized to the extent that you face every bouncer of the UPSC with confidence.
In Vipul, geography is very fast. We all know this. And they have the problem with geography, I think, is UPSC has too much of a latitude. They can play with anything. If they want to play with static things, then there is infinite number of data they can use. If they want to do current, then there is always something in current. So with regards to current, so suppose this is a question which students are also asking. You want to connect the static with the dynamic. There was recently earthquake in Turkey, and that too a very major one. So how will I prepare for something like this?
Yes, sir. Like connecting our static understanding with the current is at the core of UPSC preparation, because UPSC always asks the question on implementation. Its focus is how we use our understanding. We can implement our static with regard to the current only if we are clear of the topics, because it is what makes our base. Like the earthquake in Turkey. When we look at this occurrence, we just cannot read it from the point of view of a general public, like it just happened, this much destructions occurred. When we study geography, we also understand the plate tectonics, how plates moves, how they interact, and the larger repercussions of it. Like in Turkey, the earthquake was a result of a rupture around the Anatolian plate, and it is basically sandwiched between Eurasian, Arabian, and African plate. So there are dynamic movements which resulted in this first earthquake. So after we can only implement our static understanding with in current implementations if we are very clear with regard to our static core portion. If there is unclear or certain confusions, then we may lag the real implementation. So in this super course, my main focus will be on making you clear, thorough with regard to the static course, so that your implementation with regard to the current occurrence gets homogenized, gets automatically. So that will be the center point of my effort in this.
Okay. And what portion of geography do you think is static versus dynamic? And another question which I have from Rahul, he is afraid of Indian geography. And so how do you make sure about, can you say something about Indian geography? Can you simplify it for me and my approach in 2 minutes?
With regard to Indian geography, yes. Like Indian geography is further divided into physical and humanistic part. Okay, and the with regard to our demand of UPSC, both the questions are asked on each of them. So in order to meet this, we first need to have a strong focus on the NCRT, Indian NCRT, and basically after having the strong hold of that, in concatenation with the current occurrences which we read in news, along with certain demanding areas of the UPSC, which is like river questions on rivers are asked, and reservoirs it got asked in the 2022 prelims, because there was a government scheme related to the reservoir. So we need to holistically kind of study the NCRT. It will cover your base, and then we can do incremental additions, so that we comprehensively cover all the things with regard to Indian geography.
Okay, let me now direct my questions to Shelly. Shelly, you have a larger sphere of work to be done because you are handling science, tech, and environment. Now, science, tech, environment both are heavily dependent on current affairs. They are both fast, and at least to a non-technical person, especially somebody who has a background of humanities, these are daunting things. Nobody wants to read about science, and nobody knows exactly why physical processes occur in a certain way. Sometimes they ask conceptual questions also about exactly why is the sky blue. Is it refraction or diffraction? Sometimes they go into that direction apart from current affairs. Tell me, please, exactly what I asked the others. How will I rescue myself in this situation? I am a humanities aspirant. I don't know much science. I've never been interested. I don't understand the logic, the math of it, and I don't want to. And so, what am I supposed to do? My only exposure to science, tech, and environment, suppose, is some current affairs, and that too I have done only peripherally. What should I do?
First of all, welcome all of you to UPSC Education, and this is me, Shelly Jain. I will be your mentor for science and tech and the environment thing. This is a subject which actually scares everyone. The main reason being that it covers approximately 30% of the paper, combining both environment and the science and tech. And more specifically nowadays, because now the IFS examination prelims is conducted on this basis of UPSC prelims examination. As sir told me to first of all cover the point of how a non-technical student can address the two subjects. First of all, being very frank to each and everyone, I would say if someone has covered science and tech at least till 10th standard, should be able to solve the questions. Okay, the questions asked are not at all something which is to be answered by a graduate of the science or an engineer person. They are basics are based till the 10th books which are there for the science and tech, be it the chemistry, biology, or the physics one. Okay, so if you're good enough till 10th standard, you will be able to solve the questions if you're applying the logic behind the questions being asked. Now, considering what the sir told me, that how to solve the questions if you are referring to a one current affairs magazine or you have referred to one particular kind of book. So, first point which you should have in your mind is have faith in whatever you are reading. Okay, please have faith in it. आप जो भी पढ़ रहे हो, because right now the time is that you will be flooded with every kind of books which are there in the market. Every kind of books for each and every subject, be it for Aditi ma'am's polity or Krishna sir's history, everything will be available to you at your hand. So first of all thing is that please have. Next is, if you are reading something, read with very consistency and understand the topic so that you can apply it. Okay, so there are stages when you study. Okay, so if you are studying the topics from like it's February and you have like 80 days for your examination, considering 10 days for the revision, like till 10th of May, till I will be and we all will be completing the whole of the syllabus and leaving the 15 days for the revision. You all need to be consistent with reading and revising. Okay, if I say that you read one thing and you don't revise it, there will be no use of reading that subject. Okay, so whatever you are reading, revise it. Now again, coming to how you should tackle the environment and the science and tech. First I will take the subject of environment. Like right now you discussed the topic of geography with our sir. So this environment is very much related with your geography. If you will learn what is Earth and how the Earth is surrounded and how the tectonics work, how oceanography is there, you will be understanding how the environment is created on that geography. Okay. So if you are very much consistent and understood geography, then you will be able to apply environment topics also on that geography. If you are understanding the maps of India, you will be able to learn very easily the various sites which are there, the Ramsar site, the national parks, the every kind of UNESCO site which are there. You will be able to understand it, okay? And over there, you will have to understand through the PYQs what kind of questions are asked. You don't need to remember 105 national parks, okay? You don't need to remember all the 75, 78 Ramsar sites which are there. But you need to remember the places which are there and you have to have a logical mapping of the subject. Okay. For an example, as I was listening to this, I must introduce what I will be sharing with you in terms of my course. For an example, how I am going to share with you all. So can I share my screen right now?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So for example, UPSC has the habit of asking the questions directly from the website. In my course, for example, you are seeing this ISRO website and you are seeing what are the approved missions of the ISRO. UPSC, this is for the science and tech thing, okay? UPSC will give a question from NISAR and it will simply ask you what the NISAR is about, how the NASA is doing its part and what India is doing its part and how it will help India in develop the future missions and develop India in the future. These three kinds of topic can be there in a one question. Okay, so UPSC has the habit of giving 2 to 3 or 4 points in one question for the science and tech. So never when you see that the UPSC is asking 10 questions from the science and tech, you can think that in that 10 question you are being asked the 30 concept from that question. Okay, and say applies for the science environment also. Okay, if a question is from the national park, they might have one question from the national park and that same on the same question they will ask about wildlife also, and in the same question they might ask about the place where the national park is situated. So you need to have 3 different dimensions for that one question. So science and tech and environment becomes a topic where you have to deal with facts, where you have to deal with the concept and also the smart way to tackle the question. There are some hacks and techniques where you can solve the question, but they requires a lot of practice. As the Aditi ma'am told you right now that you have to go again and again and solve the papers, be it for any subject. Okay, this is something which is there for any subject, but you need to have expertise in what kind of test series you have to solve. As I am very much, I have given a lot of examination and I have cleared also, be it from NABARD to BPSCs or MPPSC. I have very much understanding of what kind of question can be asked from one topic in different kind of examination, depending on the nature of the examination. So I have that understanding that, oh, I have to solve this question or not for UPSC, or this question is relevant for some other examination. So this is something which will come with either the guidance which we will be giving you, or experience which might you have got in the last 2 or 3 attempts if you are giving it. Okay, so this is the one thing regarding to the PYQs. Next is, if someone is from non-technical background, my personal suggestion is please go through the PYQs, as I have already discussed in my class which was there in the prelims crash course over there. Please go through the PYQs, try to map them, try to Google search them, and try to answer what is there in terms of what can be the next question which the UPSC can ask you. Okay, because UPSC has the habit of asking you the topics which have already been asked, but in a different way. Okay, you know that every year the question is on biotechnology. Every year there is a question of biotechnology in one way or another. There are questions from the communication technologies. For an example, one year UPSC might ask a question on Bluetooth. The next year the question will be on Wi-Fi. Next year the question will be on the 5G. This year the 5G is the most recent topic which they will be there for you, and it will be asked in a way of differences. How 5G is different from the 4G, and not only in term of aspect of its technology, it affects on the human being. So science and environment also has some question which are kind of mains question. Okay, they will be asking you how its effects are there, how it will change the human perspective. Okay, so science tech environment is something which will give you a very good edge if you are good in it, and will give a lot of confidence if you are putting your effort right now in it. Okay, many people have the habit of neglecting them very badly, specifically science and tech. People neglect it, and what they do is simply go to the science and tech PT 365 and just read it out. They don't go with the concept. I will not never say that the PT 365 questions are never asked. For an example, the three parent baby question, which was again and again coming in the Vision IAS for last 2 to 3 years. But this year it didn't come in the booklet. But this year UPSC asked it. Okay. So I even in the super crash course, I asked the student to go to the 2 to 3 years this thing your PT 365. But what I want to say is, if you're having time, you can do it. But this is something which I will be providing. I will be doing the all kind of hard work which you will be needing, and you will getting the comprehensive notes. My classes will be much more on audio visual perspective. I will be sharing directly the things which I will take from the Twitter websites, or any kind of audio visuals which will be there from NASA or Ministry of Environment website, or anywhere. This will be something, the hard work which I will be doing, and I will be sharing with you in my classes. So what is to be done from your end? It will be having trust in us, and at the same time, not just having trust in us, but also in yourself. Okay, you have to read and write and again revise and practice it if you want to clear the examination. And I always, sir, I always used to say this word to me, like the Chak De India is having a dialogue. 70 दिन हैं आपके पास में, और ऐसे बैठो कि आपके last 70 minutes है life.
Yeah, that's right.
I used to say this thing when exam used to come in my life. Okay.
So that is the approach.
Anxiety काफी ज़्यादा होती है, and it ruins you all. It ruins you very badly. And I would think, मतलब मैंने पहले भी कहा था, Ravi sir is having a very good guidance program. The group which you will be creating, it will be very much hand holding will be given to you हर तरीके से, be it the subject, be it psychological, be it like anything which you will not get in the industry of UPSC. Okay.
You know that, Shelly, this...
From my own end, I did the self-studies because I never had the faith in the coaching institute. But when I met sir, I had this feeling that he is not doing this thing for the for any kind of just having an institute for the namesake of clearing UPSC, but an organization which has some ethical values and some trust in the what should be given to the people at the end of the day. So my suggestion to all of you for science and tech and environment is, please go to the PYQs, study them, and then study from the books which you all are following. I will never suggest a book for you, but I will be giving the notes which I am having, or whatever you are doing, just map it with the PYQs and then study it and have faith in it. So this is from my end for the science and tech environment, and you can ask me some any questions of which you have from your end.
The main thing I would like to ask Shelly is, can you tell us in 2 minutes why you are able to clear so many exams and why are others not? What is the real secret? Tell us that.
I guess Aditi and Krishna, whatever I've said, that what that might have applied to your studies as well. I guess Ravi sir is not there. I guess you all can also share what you all did for science and tech environment, because I always feel that it is not having any one kind of book. Like Shankar IAS is always a bulky book, and I used to waste a lot of time reading one only each and every chapter again and again. Specifically the middle part which is there of the Shankar IAS.
Yeah.
What do you all suggest to the students from your end also for the subject?
And we'll get to
You
the.
can go first. I guess sir is not there.
No, I'm here. No, I'm here. And we'll suggest something interesting about how to approach these individual things. But what I want to ask now is I want to address CSAT immediately right now. CSAT, this is a problem. This has become a problem. Let us face the facts. Everyone is afraid, and there are people among us, including Aditi even, who is not comfortable with math, or somebody else who may not be comfortable with math. This is a common theme. And I've heard people, they go into the attempt, and I'm not kidding, they don't attempt any math question at all, and they risk the whole year's preparation based on this issue of CSAT. Now we have, luckily, Yogi. I have a lot of faith in him. One, he is from IIT, so we already know that he is good with math. He understands math, but the math is a different animal. Math is बिल्कुल अलग उसका एक rule set of rules है, वो एक अलग language है. उसको हम बाकी subjects की तरह treat नहीं कर सकते. उसके कुछ अलग ही रूल्स हैं, हम उसको नॉलेज की तरह एक्वायर नहीं कर सकते. सपोज यू वांट टू एक्वायर नॉलेज फॉर ज्योग्राफी और हिस्ट्री, आप उसको कंज्यूम कर सकते हो. द लैंग्वेज, द मीडियम फॉर कंज्यूमिंग दैट इज ईदर हिंदी और इंग्लिश और व्हाटएवर लैंग्वेज यू यूज. मैथ के साथ ये नहीं है. द लैंग्वेज इज डिफरेंट, the way the thought process works is different. You have to be comfortable with what is it that you are juggling in your mind. The visualization is different when you are doing math versus what you are doing in history. I am sure if you put brain scans on people, the brain must be doing something completely different when the person is doing math. Yogi, with this complication and with this fear, tell me exactly how can you rescue me for this math portion. I want to be, not only do I want to pass, I want to be sure and confident कि मेरा math में नहीं रुकेगा.
Yes, sir. So since we have planned to take CSAT as I had taken the strategy session and I have interacted with the students. Sir, what I found is that there are some reasons for this maths phobia. Sir, one reason, as you mentioned, maths is a different language. Even if people are taught, even if they have attended classes, but when they are doing a question, when they're attempting a question, they are not able to visualize the question. They are not even able to gauge what the question is asking them to do. And then how will you solve the question if you don't even know that what is being asked, what you have to find? Like you don't need to so people don't know how to assume variables, how to find those values, how to solve these things. So sir, there are some reasons. Like maths is a different language, as you have mentioned. So there should, if you are from that background, if you are from that much non-technical background, so if you don't understand that language, then you should find someone, you should seek that guidance, who can teach you that language. Because if you will go for a book, if you'll buy a book for CSAT, there will be solutions given, but you will not able to understand those solutions if you are not able to gauge that language. It is a different language. So second thing I would say is like the fear is very psychological. People who are afraid of maths are afraid of maths since their childhood. Like I have seen in my batches in my school. So there were people who said that मेरे को maths नहीं आती, I am afraid of maths, and even at this stage of their life they are like that only. So this is something like UPSC is asking maths up till 10th level, and this should be an ego fight. Like if you have not read maths till now, then you will have to read it now. Because suppose a small entrepreneur like a chai wala, he has never gone to school, he has never read maths, but he is doing those calculation very fast while he's doing business. So this is something maths do in your life. It augments other things. So suppose I will take an example from this preparation only. So there are n number of data sets in economy. There are some use of directions in geography, coordinates and direction. There is some use of maths in polity, about the voting percentage, about the election of president and all. So if you are able, and these kind of concepts are being asked in CSAT also. So if you should take it to your ego that I should understand these things, I should seek help if I want to, I should do whatever it needs to take. Because sir, even after being a civil servant, as you can better tell them, like even after being a civil servant, you have to do this calculation. Like if you are paying taxes, you have to calculate those taxes or should seek help from someone. If you are paying some interest on a loan, you should be able to calculate that interest by your own. So these kind of things are a life. So I think that the things that UPSC is asking in CSAT, so they will change everyone's life. So we should, if we will see it like that, we will never skip maths. And even if
this level you are not comfortable with that, you should not do maths at all. You can go for reading comprehension, and you can go for easier parts of maths and reasoning. So sir, I always say this: in maths there are no easy and tough topics, there are easy and tough questions. Like in every topic, like if I'm asking a simple question of calendar, like what will be a day after tomorrow, you can answer that. But if I will ask like what will be a day after 7 years, so that makes a question tough, but the topic is not tough. So I will say that just go through all the topics and try to attack those easy questions. So sir, that will be my rescue for CSAT. Sir, apart from that, UPSC has not given us a syllabus, so I have tried myself to define that syllabus by going through the PYQs of all UPSC exams, including the recruitment test, because I believe that there is a team who is setting all these questions for reasoning and maths. So sir, that defining a scope is very important, because we have a limited time, and even in that limited time we give a very short amount of time to CSAT. So sir, that is very important.
And tell me what I should do in this small period of time. The bottom line is, क्या मेरा CSAT हो जाएगा? If I don't do math, suppose I'll give you a situation. I am an aspirant. The last time I did math was in 10th.
Yes sir.
Then I didn't do it. And I've always had the fear, and I don't want to do it. But I have to clear this exam. Everything is done. This is not done. क्या मेरा हो जाएगा?
Yes sir, definitely. Sir, there is a reason why UPSC has made this qualifying. Like if they want to fail student in that, they will never make it qualify. They will make it a part of cutoff. UPSC wants students to have that choice to just gain that minimum. But although the minimum percentage of marks is a myth, because there is a variation in UPSC answer key every year, and we cannot gauge exactly the 67 marks that are needed. But we must assume that we must at least ensure our 80 to 90 marks in CSAT, so that we are safe and we are ready to go for mains. But those 80 to 90 marks are so easy to score. The right strategy is to find those easy questions.
So you had this approach which you were mentioning to me the other day about a skill-based approach. One, then you are also something very interesting to show us, right? You wanted to show us how even in CSAT there is repetition. This is something I should mention, that everybody, when he said it, I was a little taken aback, though I was not expecting it. मुझे नहीं पता था कि ऐसा होता है, but apparently ऐसा होता है. And he will show you something quite interesting.
Yes, sir. As I said that, sir, UPSC is not defined a syllabus. So we should ourselves define it by going through the PYQs of all the UPSC exams. So I have done it for my students and for myself as well. So sir, this is a file that I have prepared. Sir, this is being done only by using 2-3 years of question, and I am doing it for all the years. And this is what I've got.
Can you increase? Can you increase the size a bit? We can't see.
Yes, sir. Wait a second. Sir, is it visible now?
Now it is better. Yes. Yes, now we can see.
Yes, sir. So, sir, look at this question. The same year, so this CDS exam happened in year 2022 in February month, and the CSAT exam, our exam happened in June, and same type of question, sir. How many minutes are there in X weeks and X days? So they have made it a bit complex, but so UPSC also want us to go through the question so that we can gauge the level they are going to ask. We can gauge the type that they are going to ask. Sir, even the previous year questions are repeated on the same lines. And so, sir, I've gone through the questions of all these exams. So, sir, this is the CSF question, and same kind of question is, so same 180-degree angle of clock, same 180-degree angle of clock in CSAT. After 2 years, they have repeated the same question. So, sir, it gave me an idea that sir, see this question. This question made me to analyze these papers, because the same question, even the name is not changed.
Exactly same.
Even the name is not changed. Even the numbers are not changed. The data set is also same. Same year, CDS paper happened in February and CSAT exam happened in June. Same question was repeated. So, sir, this has made me analyze. Like,
everyone take a note of this. Apparently, I don't know. Apparently, the CDS.
Yes, even if you are not joining the super course. Yes, sir. For the students of the super batch, I will be doing this hard work. But even if you are not joining the super course, but just look at this trend. Try to analyze the questions of other UPSC exams, including the recruitment test, because there is a high probability of them getting repeated. And even if they are not repeated, then I can guarantee that the type of the question will be same. The type of the question of all the 50 questions that are being asked in CSAT, you can gauge by going through the PYQs of all the UPSC exams. And that is my strategy to get all those questions right. Every time, like I attempt CSAT questions, only 2 or 3 questions, that too because of a silly mistake I get them wrong, but all my questions are right. And that is the beauty of maths. Like if you are getting the question right, the accuracy is very high. Like people were discussing about accuracy issues in polity and geography, but in maths it doesn't happen. If you are able to gauge the concept, if you are able to do it in the right way, you will always get the answer right. So that is one of my observation. And so this is something I will like to say the students.
योगी, how many such questions are there जो आपके पास हैं document में?
Sir, this is a question paper which I have. This is a document which I have prepared using 2-3 years of papers of CSAT and other exams. Like I have done this search using Google of CSAT questions if there is any match. And but I am sure that I'm still doing this work for other like previous year papers before 2015 or 2016. I have yet to do that thing. Like this is a 8-page document, and this is full of like I guess 20-25 questions are there, which are exactly the same replica of the questions which are already being asked in other exams or in CSAT previous years.
Right. Okay. Now let us come to a very critical topic, and let us talk about economy. What are we going to do about economy? Yes, Aditi.
One thing before we
Sure.
change our focus from CSAT, I would just take 1 minute to share my experience, because we are also students, and I completely come from a non-technical background, which is law. So I want to share that the first exam that I had given, first UPSC prelims exam, I cleared my first paper and I flunked in CSAT. And it was very heartbreaking for me, because everything else was strong, but CSAT was the issue. So then I decided that I will not. I will solve a lot of questions. I will start maths. I will do this. Everything was decided. I did not, but I still did not take any help. I started doing maths on my own from YouTube videos and everything. But again, in my second attempt, although I cleared it, but it did not help me at all. Just not taking help. I just want to highlight that हमें लगता है that we'll be able to do it, but जिनको maths नहीं आता वो नहीं कर सकते. And now since I've been in touch with Yogi, for example, we have been friends. Now when I'm solving questions, at least I have someone whom I can send the question, and because he has experience, he can guide me कि ये method मत use करो. There is an easier method to do this question, and वो हम कर सकते हैं. So this is the advantage of taking guidance, क्योंकि हमें लगता है YouTube पे सब available है, but because being student, being from IIT, he knows कि इसको और easy तरीके से किया जा सकता है. So just highlighting कि just small जो चीजें हैं वो help के through में कितना ज़्यादा guide कर सकती हैं. So I just wanted to share my experience कि guidance does matter. We should not be overconfident.
Yeah. Shelly, you wanted to say something?
One of my observation in CSAT is because people fail CSAT because of 2 things only. Sir, one is ignorance, who are highly overconfident, and one is fear, who are highly underconfident. There are no in between. The people who are in between always clear CSAT. So there are 2 kind of people who flunk in CSAT, and one are overconfident and one are very underconfident. And sir, those who are overconfident, I would suggest them to, even if they are not seeking guidance, they should at least practice. They should at least see those things like what I have shown, like they just do this trend analysis by themselves, at least go through the PYQs. And those who are underconfident, they must seek guidance. They must take help. They should not be, because sir, UPSC is giving 2 exams to qualify prelims, but people think that there is only 1 exam. So that is the case with CSAT. Like it is highly ignored, and that is why it is becoming a disaster.
Right. And Shelly, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, I would like to add my experience too for the CSAT. I lost my 2 attempts just because of the CSAT only. I cleared both the papers, first one to second one, and with a huge difference from the cutoff. There was a huge difference. But as Yogi told, that there are 2 students who are not able to clear, the more overconfident one and the less confident one. So my first attempt was for the overconfident, because I am from a technical background, thinking that the questions are asked are like the question which we study in our technical thing, okay? So what I want to highlight for all the students is, and the second one was because of anxiety, that I had done it, but I was not confident with my first paper, GS1. The time which is there between like after giving the paper from 11:30 to 2 o'clock, you are in very much of pressure if you have done the paper nicely or not, or whatever is there. Like सब बहुत तेज गर्मी भी होती है उस समय, मतलब mind बहुत ही ज़्यादा थका हुआ होता है. And that is the time they actually check your psychology, which I think that CSAT is also about the psychology, not only about maths, maths, reasoning, or this thing, your English. It's a psychology paper also. That are you able to do the most important calculation at the hour of sleeping, like 2 o'clock is the time of sleep. So are you wake up at that time as an IS officer? Okay, because we will be having the challenges at that time. So what is my suggestion? You all are getting a very good mentor in the name of Yogi sir. But at the same time, please don't ignore CSAT. It really hurts a lot when you are not able to clear the exam and you get the scorecard saying that, oh, you didn't clear it. So I would say please don't consider it as a qualifying paper. उसको उतना ही importance दो जितना GS1 को दे रहे हो, बल्कि उससे ज़्यादा दो, क्योंकि qualifying paper नहीं निकलना ज़्यादा दुख देता है योगी. I guess you all might feel it. मतलब ऐसा लगता है कि क्या यार इतने भी capable नहीं हैं हम. Okay, so this is my friendly advice to everyone.
Sir, can I add one thing based on what Shelly said?
Yogi. And sir, I guess you are taking out whatever will the English comprehensive courses. Please don't neglect it. And sir, what is my experience with my friends also? Now people are not able to clear the prelims because of the CSAT. Because
that is a new trend. Actually, it is driving the cutoff lower.
The dynamics has changed, because what I am feeling is that the CSAT is not only about solving the questions. It's not, and even the questions which are being asked are not kind of banking questions which we solve. Okay, kind of banking questions are there. They are different set of questions which are also having a concept in it. Like Yogi is saying, concept समझ में आएगा तभी तुम्हें वो समझ में आएगा, मतलब कर पाओगे इस question को. So please do take help of Yogi sir in this also.
Sir, one more thing I would like to add here. Sir, when people are afraid of CSAT and when they go for guidance, so people in YouTube or in coaching industry also have seen, like people to teach these tricks and all. People teach these tricks and all to solve questions, and they they do different things. But sir, when we are like Shelly has mentioned, after giving the GS exam for 2 hours, after being exhausted, so those things never help in exam. Like you if you have given any exam, you can solve that. Like I will tell you of the Vedic math trick to do a calculation 65 into 65 to find the 65 square, but in actual exam you will be writing 65 into 65 and you will be doing it by the method that have been taught to you in school. So that is the kind of pressure that we feel in that exam. For that only I have devised these things. Like if you are able to draw that question, if you are able to do the question using the options, if you are able to apply your common sense, that is the thing that helps you in that exam. Formula mugging and using these tricks and all, it will never help you in CSAT paper, and that is also not required. You are good.
And specifically what Yogi told us, sir, YouTube में से बहुत कुछ मिलता है मैथ्स के लिए, but सर वो UPSC के लिए नहीं होता है. मतलब इतना मिलेगा सर, मैंने खुद इतनी वीडियोस देखी थी, पर वो यूपीएससी के लायक कहीं से भी नहीं होती है. कुछ अलग ही प्रकार के क्वेश्चन होते हैं जो योगी ने ऑलरेडी का उसने मैपिंग की हुई है. एंड मैंने भी पिछली बार जब निकाला तो मैंने भी वो मैपिंग करके ही चीजें वापस रिवाइज की कि मुझे वैसे ही पढ़ना है. एंड व्हाटएवर इज योगी सिंग इज सो ट्रू.
एक तो
I'm again that idea.
This is right, because I have seen how he tries to and how he teaches it. First of all, best thing about it, and I'll tell you something honestly, I had math phobia for the longest time in my life, and अभी हो सकता है कि ऐसा देख के ना लगता हो, because sometimes I do calculation on the fly, and now I have gotten better at it. But I had math phobia for the longest time. All through my school and college education, I had it, and it only dissipated when something clicked and I was able to visualize. I read this book about GRE math. At one point in time, I was thinking of doing a master's in philosophy from abroad. I wanted to do GRE. I read this trick on GRE math, and that something clicked in that book. It told me how to visualize percentages and how to visualize numbers and how to visualize something as a percentage of something. And that I'm using every day. I think I'll use it all my life. So if you are able to communicate this visualization, suppose there is a diagram 180 degree of the clock or a 365 day calendar or something like that, if this can be visualized in the mind, then the chances of eliminating the wrong option is very high. उसके लिए calculate करना पड़ेगा, but eliminate हो जाएंगे wrong options because they will just simply not fit. So that is about
even I would add that the test series which are there for the CSAT in the market also don't help. So because they
Yes,
are made on the कि एक particular topic को वो मतलब देखिए वो बनाते हैं, so
There is,
sectional test.
infinite.
Exam hall में 50 चीजें एक साथ होती हैं आपके. And so second also point which I would say, I don't know everyone has given this that कि सब पहला first paper is of 100 marks and second paper is of 100 questions, second paper is of 80 questions. So that calculation also at the same time solving the paper कितने question करने हैं नहीं करने हैं कितने छोड़ने हैं सर वो भी आपका बहुत changes कर देता है. So this is a psychological aspect that they have added in the CSAT.
No, I should also mention that we have not one but two people who are very good at this. The Vipul is also exceptionally good at it. He gets all questions of CSAT math correct. So because he is technical person, technical background, we will have his guidance. And what remains is CSAT English. Some people do have an issue with it. So I don't feel any problem with that. I am super happy in teaching it, and I will conduct some classes if required on CSAT comprehension. That will not be an issue. मुझे तो नहीं लगता कि कोई भी issue इसमें होना चाहिए. Not at all. So that brings us to a very important discussion: economy. So economy, what we have figured is that it is so important, so pivotal, so critical that we have to pull in our efforts to make sure that it is covered comprehensively. So of course I have background and I know enough economy because I've seen economy happening in front of me in the Ministry of Finance, and I have also constantly observed how what I read in economy, whether it was disinvestment or it was cash reserve ratio or it was the number of investments or it was some scheme for exporters which the government has introduced, why these things are introduced, what is the logic behind them, and that is the level at which they ask questions, in my opinion. Please correct me if I'm wrong. They ask questions on the why of economy. There is a what of economy. Sometimes they will ask a what. So suppose they will ask me what is the method of calculating GDP in this thing. They will ask some 3-4 years ago they asked this question. Mostly they will ask the why of the question. Why CRR ratio is increased or decreased? Why fiscal deficit increases? What is the point of the subsidies that is given? What are the advantages or what are the disadvantages? What is the logic? Because economy के अंदर एक underlying logic होता है. There is a logic always which works. Although it is not strict logic like math, but there is a framework and it is a logical thing. It works on demand and supply. It works on allocation of resources, various considerations. So we are going to cover economy in detail and we'll be focusing on this why aspect. And again, if you want to study economy, you can go forever. It can go on forever because it does not have any strict boundaries. It does not have a boundary. It can go into environment. It can go into society. It can go anywhere. And so the point is we have to figure out on the macro economy what is going on in the country. We need to know about the recent developments. In fact, not just economy, about finance and finance for the common man, whether that is Bhim UPI or there is something that is important or microfinancing which has started. These are the questions that they will surely ask, and so this is what we need to understand. And again, Bhim UPI, for instance, perfect question to ask. Obviously, they will ask, they have asked, obviously they will question of cryptocurrency. It is not just environment, it's not just science tech. It is the intersection of science tech and economy that the question gets asked. And moreover, something so critical, something so important to India because we developed that technology here indigenously. And that technology is so powerful that even the Americans are using it now, integrating it into their system. And now with this year, with the IRMS, I've mentioned this a number of times, IRMS has been introduced. There will be some changes. We will see a slight shifting of the trend. We already know this. We know that economy and geography and environment, science tech, these areas wherever railways has an intersection will probably see an increase. So that will be the approach for economy, and it will have to be done in detail because it is current affair based. It will be done towards April, and we want to make sure that all of the above, the various other things are covered. So if you are doing this in self-study mode or you're using a prelims crash course, economy, you keep it for April and make sure that there are filters. So one source I'll tell you, very useful source. Everywhere I give that content. I will give it this time also. PRS India publishes their reports of macroeconomic policies every year. These are very concise, very authentic one-page report. You go to prsindia.com. They have these monthly reports. वो monthly reports पढ़नी है जाने से पहले एग्जाम में सबको. I will compile a PDF. If suppose the annual report has not yet been released up till prelims, we will simply compile the 11 PDFs of the months and I will send it to you. Don't wait for me to send it. Go for it and start reading it now. जो भी हुआ है macro economy में और policy में, any amendment in any bill, any draft, anything which is relevant about anything which the legislature has done, because you understand that everything ultimately has to go through the legislature. कोई policy change हो नहीं सकता है उसके sanction के बिना. It's a Republican system. You understand? That means that executive and legislature are always overlapping. So whatever the executive is doing, the legislature has to sanction at some point or another. So that is a compilation of everything that the executive has done in the past year. And that is something very important, very pivotal. Make sure that that is covered. And in any case, I will be covering it. And I'll be talking about the budget and everything relevant for economy. But there is another critical issue. What about current affairs? What about current affairs? The fact of the matter about current affairs is that what I am going to do, and this is my suggestion, whether or not you join any superbatch, doesn't matter. Do current affairs in 3 different types of formats. One format is do current affairs which is subject specific. This is an approach which I will tell, which Aditi follows. We discussed about it. She mentioned, suppose you have monthly compilation of magazines. Suppose, I will not cover those in the supervised because they are too extensive, not required in my opinion. Suppose you have monthly compilation. Monthly compilation, suppose you are reading Polity, do the Polity portions of the monthly compilations. Don't try to tackle the monthly compilations of current affairs at once. It gets overwhelming. And दूसरी प्रॉब्लम जो उसमें है, कॉन्टेक्स्ट नहीं होगा आपके पास. इफ यू रीड करंट अफेयर्स एज करंट अफेयर्स ओनली, you don't have the conceptual context of it. But if you are reading it alongside the subject, it helps. It helps make better connections. It helps increasing the knowledge. It helps in elimination. और आपको बहुत चीजें कनेक्ट करते हो, especially when you are engaging with the content. 1, 2, cover current affairs individually. But when you do individually, cover it about 2-3 months at a time. Granular नहीं होना है अभी. Granular नहीं हो सकते हैं अभी. It will have to be filtered and it will have to be done at a macro level. We will have individual classes for current affairs. The subject experts will take individual subject-oriented current affairs. Aditi covers polity-centric current affairs. Vipul does his geography and so on and so forth. That of course happens, but separate also is required, but not to that extent. उसमें overwhelm नहीं हो जाना है. Most of the times I've seen, because the coaching institutes, they give you these bulky monthly magazines, you get overwhelmed and you start to realize, there is something called FOMO. FOMO, fear of missing out. Hugely important effect that it is having on your psychology. If you have a compilation sitting over there and if you don't read it, the anxiety and the dissonance does not allow you to rest in peace, because you're always thinking about what you have not done rather than what you have done. This is one thing that I want to make sure that should not happen. It is not easy to control. It is a very powerful effect. Moreover, it is a subconscious effect. वो कब होगा आपको पता भी नहीं चलेगा. But you will start to feel the dissonance. Yearly compilation bhavna is fine. But at the same time, what I have seen, Vision IAS, Insight IAS, इतना ज़्यादा content उसमें होता है, कोई नहीं पढ़ सकता उसको. In my opinion, honestly speaking, nobody can read and remember it, and it is a task to connect it to all the other things. What they will do is make sure that everything is covered. I'm not saying that they're doing anything wrong. The fact of the matter, it is not healthy for you. They have done their job of giving the content, but in the process of doing that, they have created some FOMO in you. That FOMO is going to lead to some anxiety in you, and that is going to lead to a detriment in your performance. That we have to avoid. So we will be granular. The third place where you must do current affairs is you do current affairs in your questions, in your test series. Now there will be in CPTP, there will be separate questions on test series. In the question of test series, there will be not only month-wise, test series, current affair questions, but subject-wise current affair questions. So basically, it becomes 4 different ways in which current affairs get covered. That is what we are going to emulate in the super batch. That is what you should be doing with or without the super batch, and that is about current affairs. Now, a very important thing I have to say, you have asked questions, we have answered the questions, but let me tell you something very clearly without sugarcoating it, and you need to listen to this and accept it. There are high expectations from the students who appear in the super batch. This is not something that you can just walk into because you feel like it. बहुत एनर्जी, बहुत टाइम, बहुत एफर्ट इसमें लग रहा है सबका. The students are expected to work very hard. Very hard. You will be pushed. We will not trouble you. There will be no negativity, but there is an expectation. If you are coming in it, you make sure, reorient your mind to make sure कि इस बार मैं I am going into it because I want to clear prelims or because I want to do everything possible. एग्रेशन से और बहुत फोर्स से इसके अंदर हमको आना है और इसी तरीके से हमको परस्यू करना है इसको. ठीक है. दैट एनवायरमेंट एंड द गाइडेंस एंड द कंटेंट विल ऑल बी देयर, बट अल्टीमेटली आई एम टेलिंग यू दिस राइट नाउ, द थिंग व्हिच विल मेक द डिफरेंस विल बी द कम्युनिटी एंड द साइक सपोर्ट. दैट इज व्हाट विल मेक द रियल डिफरेंस. अगर एक्सपेक्टेशन नहीं है खुद से तो नहीं आना है इसमें. डू नॉट कम इनटू इट. इफ यू आर कमिंग इनटू इट, come with the fact that there are these 5 people who are running around the clock, running hoops, making efforts. I have to do justice to them. We have to do justice to you. तो आपके सामने है. You can see the amount of work that has been going into it. But this justice you have to do now also. तो हम कर देंगे जो हमको करना है. But आप करोगे कि नहीं? That is the question. That is the question, and that is the question only you can answer. You answer it honestly, and there is no shame in admitting that there is a lack, there is a problem. There is no shame. If there is a problem, that problem will also be tackled. The only problem that we cannot tackle, we will not tackle, is that if you refuse to engage. आप engage ही नहीं करोगे, हम कुछ नहीं करेंगे ना हम कुछ कर सकते हैं. That is not appropriate. नहीं करना है वो. उस intention के साथ हमको करना है ये. That is the whole purpose of it. This is not a coaching institute. This is not a commercial place. यहाँ पर ये सब कुछ इसलिए हो रहा है because there is no other way to do it. You understand? You come into this with this mindset. As soon as you come into it, you become part of our community, you become part of our family, you become part of our group. It is this group that will go into mains. It is this group that will become officers. It is this group that will always remain connected to me for the rest of our lives. That is the whole bigger picture of it. ये सब इसलिए हो रहा है. That is the foundation of that you can already see in this room over here. All of these people are in that category. Now, whether they become officers or not, I will be connected with them as long as they want to be connected with me. That is where you also have to go. उस जर्नी में एक स्टेप हमारा है कि हमको प्रीलिम्स क्लियर करना है. उसके बिना कोई फायदा नहीं है. Without that mindset. All right. So that is what we wanted to say. That is what we wanted to communicate. You have answered the questions. I have laid down my expectations very clearly, and now you can proceed with or without the super batch. Even without the super batch, there will be enough content. Even more will be added in the crash course that you can pursue it in your self-study mode. Please remember, each of these people have exactly told you what they will be doing themselves in the individual sessions. आपको सिर्फ वो सेशंस रेफर करने एक बारी देखिए उनको क्या हुआ है. When you have an issue, just go and see what has already been done. You know, I see sometimes it upsets me. I'll be honest, because लोगों को लगता है कि if something is coming, then it should keep coming. But they don't digest what is being given. They don't digest what is already there. I sometimes get angry, even publicly I get a little irritated about it because I didn't have these things. मुझे नहीं बताया किसी ने कोई सुपर बैच होगा या ऐसे कोई मुझे बताएगा. I was just floating around in the market like one of the many thousands of people out there. धक्के खा के हिट एंड ट्रायल कर करके अल्टीमेटली जब खुद बैठ के मैं पढ़ा तब जाके वो हुआ. उससे पहले वो नहीं हुआ और ना होना था. The same thing will happen to you. So that environment will be created. Now it is there. And I'll hand over to Shelly. Shelly, you want to say something?
Sir, since you already told the student that they need to do the required hard work, I would like to add that only. We will be giving the same things that happened with all of us. We were late in the geo category of getting digital things in our hand, or whatever is being given in the online mode right now. So hard work is something which I am expecting from my end also in science and tech and environment. So because it is also having both the things, fact and concept is there. One cannot say that I will teach it and you will get the right answer in the exam hall. You will have to put your mind and soul into the preparation. But once again, the same thing. You will have to put us. You have to do the hard work too, and we all want that to happen.
I mean, this is, and even more so, let me add that this has already been initiated. It is not a one-sided thing where somebody is giving you content you are receiving. The private Telegram group, has already been created. Students have started communicating. The first question to all the students who are coming into this super batch is, tell us about yourself. I want to understand, and I want everyone of my team to understand what is it that bothers you. Some people have an issue with consistency. Some people have an issue with content. Some people have an issue with all. So this is not something that we are going to create and just give, ye lo aapka ho gaya, now we are done. No. That doesn't work. This is a group, it's a community. All of us have to clear it. All of us have to clear prelims. Everyone who doesn't clear prelims is a failure on our part, on everyone's part. And also another thing, final thing that I would like to add, final thing. When you enter the private group of the super batch, we expect everyone to help each other. It is not just us who will be helping. Everyone will be helping each other out. This group becomes the core. And it is through this core that we will all manifest our best potential. That is the whole vision. And yes, so that is what I wanted to tell you. I hope that things are clear. If anything is left, if we forgot something, let us know and we will try to address it. And yes, we are going to go. We are starting immediately tomorrow, day after tomorrow, we will begin. And if you can do it, enroll. If you cannot do it, we will help you even otherwise as much as possible. I will do whatever I can as a single person. I cannot do the job of 5 people. दो मैं नहीं कर सकता. But जो मैं कर सकता हूँ, what I will be doing, I will do that for everyone. That much is guaranteed. So with that, I will leave you and I hope to see you very soon. Thank you very much and good night.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good night. Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.